Good morning, folks, and welcome back to Old School Studios. Alright, so back at Fairview. Here's where we're at. Down the basement. Alright, so in here, this has all been primered with bonding primer. This was second coated with mud, and what I'm going to do is give this a sanding and give it a third coat, and I'm going to get the first coat of gray paint on these walls. I got the faucet for here. I'm going to drill that and put that in, secure this panel, which only has one screw in it right now. Over here I got the vinyl molding that I'm going to put around the tub surround, so I'm going to cut that and get that fit in place, and get some lights on in this place. It's so dark. Alright, so what else do we got going on here? We do have a river flowing down the driveway, which is peculiar. There's like an abundance of water coming from this direction, and it's flowing like straight down the driveway. I don't know if you can see that. It's literally a river. Like somebody has a broken water main or something. I didn't think it rained that much. But, alright, so up in the kitchen, I'm for the most part done. I did hire a tile guy to do this backsplash, and he showed up last night kinda late, and he got these two pieces of cement board in here. He looks like he's got two more to put in here, and then he'll tile this. I'm going with white and gray, and I got this color scheme while I was using the restroom at Get Go. I seen the white and gray large subway tiles, and oh man, look at this. You know what? This is what happens when you hire somebody to do work. Look what he did. He scratched the shit out of unbelievable. He's putting tile up. He didn't have to hug that so tight. He could have like brought it back a little bit. Look at this. This side too. Scratched the shit out of it. Oh, that's gonna make my partner really happy. So I came in here and I scrubbed this, and that looks pretty good. I do have a little bit of grouting to do, and I have to fill these holes with some grout, but all in all, we're looking pretty snazzy. And we got a spider. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Alright, so I am using the gray paint that I use on the bathrooms and kitchens at the apartment building. It's an eggshell. It's made by Valspar. This is pretty much as high of a gloss as we get. And I don't know why, because you can't, well, I guess you could wipe this off, but you can't really wipe off flat paint. And my dude loves it. says it looks so rich. Well, so rich you'll never be when you have to keep paying a painter to paint every fucking room over and over because you can't get your colors to be mixed 2 times the same. There's always a shade off, so I can't ever just go make touch-ups. I gotta go do complete repaints or paint whole entire walls because someone put nail holes in it. So this in the corners here is a problem that I've run into before, where somebody used silicone caulking, and you see how the silicone caulking is repelling the paint. So in between my coats, excuse me, in between my coats of paint, I'm going to come in here with some paintable caulking, and if I go over that, the paintable caulking will stick to my paint in surrounding areas, and I could paint over the paintable caulking, and the paintable caulking will stick to the silicone in the surrounding areas. I've had to do this with windows and doors before, that someone used the wrong caulking and it was just repelling paint. Well, I'm not in the market to dig all that caulking out of there, and we're just going over it with more caulking. So I go around everything that I know that I can't get my roller into and around. Outlets, switches. You gotta make sure you don't get drips. Right here, I let that get too far in there, and I don't want that to drip. I'll come back and check it. So the reason I'm doing this first thing today is if once I get this painted, I could get a fan going in here, and this will dry where I could get the caulking on, get that tacked up, and get a second coat on this all in one day, because it's latex, and with a fan and a nice dry basement, this should dry pretty quick. And I do have a dehumidifier going down here and 3 sump pumps, even though it's raining. Well, it was raining. So just like the joint compound, I normally don't paint out of a 5-gallon bucket. I will pour some into a cut pan, cut bucket, anything. But this room is so small that it's like I'm gonna be done with this in 20 minutes, and it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't need to get something else dirty where I gotta clean out another cut bucket or find a cut bucket. I don't have one currently in this color. My dude loves throwing away my cut buckets. And like I said, I don't like to pollute the mud. I don't like to pollute the paint. So let's say I went and I hit the ground and then my brush is polluted. Well, I don't want my brush going back in and polluting anything. I wiped the walls down with lacquer thinner, and everything was vacuumed and lacquer thinnered. So these walls are clean. This bonding primer is from Sherwin-Williams, and it says it'll stick to glass, although it won't stick to silicone. Not a whole lot of things will. This wooden box has some drywall screws, and I'll probably put a piece of trim molding here, and I don't want to caulk this in place in case this trunk ever has to be serviced. This has to be able to come apart. I mean, I'm going to be long down the road, but I am courteous of the next person who has to service this house. Alright, I'm going to sand this also today and get another coat on this. Get a quick little sanding. Knock off the teats. Knock off the teats. Gonna get back here. And this is going to get another shutoff valve right on these 3/8 threads right here. It'll be 3/8 female to 3/8 male, so I could accept a new water line for the toilet, and it'll be fresh and clean, and you'll never have to use this shutoff valve again. And it's going to be behind the toilet, because remember the toilet was on an angle in here. So I am going to just paint this clean so it doesn't look disgusting, and there'll be a nice chrome shutoff valve screwed right to here coming up, and the toilet will come into that. And this all gets trim molded, and we'll figure out some nice trim molding in here. Alright, I'm going to get a coat of paint around this tub surround and get some rolling going. Alright, so I cut this in and I rolled the coat on here. I gave this drywall a sanding and I put a coat of paint on it, and I don't have to completely coat the whole thing. I could just coat the bad spots that I see. So I got the fan in here. I'm trying to get this paint tacked up. I'm going to caulk the corners. I'm going to work on this right now. When paint is dry, I could come back and paint my caulking and put everything a second coat. So I'm going to get tools rounded up to put this faucet in, and I'm going to get started with that now. Alright, walk with me. I gotta go get my drill. I took all my tools out of here because the tile guy was staying late, and I didn't want things to disappear, which you know, some people inadvertently pick up your screwdriver or your channel locks, and they don't mean to take it, but they do, and they, you know, they think you don't notice. And I notice. You thought no one was watching you play Galaxica, but we were watching. Alright, so I got a drill and a battery. So I went into Lowe's the other day, and they quit carrying Porter cable. All they have is DeWalt and Craftsman, and that's kind of a letdown. I've been using Porter cable tools for years. That's pretty much like 90% of my tools is Porter cable. I got routers and everything. I got rid of it all. Alright, so I'm going to drill this hole in the surround, and I'll be back at you. Alright, so I came through here, I caulked, let it dry. These are, all my corners are single coated. I put the little shut-off valve on. It's a quarter turn. I'm all cut in, drywall sanded, painted again. I put PVC trim molding going up and around that. So what I gotta do is pull that nail out and that nail out, and I need to drop that thing down to sit on there. This is 4 and 7/8 inches, and I want my stuff to sit on there evenly. So this board had a giant scratch on the using surface, And so it had ink on it, and I had 2 spots on here, and I cleaned it with lacquer thinner and it came off. So I'm gonna have to get some lacquer thinner and get that one off. But it had a big giant scratch on the other side, so I didn't want to. Had to customize it around the bottom, little notch. It's glued and trim nailed. And so the rest of this I'll hit with silicone, and it'll be siliconed all the way around the trim, and the trim in these pieces will be siliconed. So I drilled the hole for that, and then I got sidetracked, and actually I'm getting a new brass piece for the top, and cold air return to hide this, blank white cover plate, and I believe we're putting new trim molding right here because this is broken and it looks terrible. I got some trim molding coming to block that in so that looks better, and moving right along, folks, moving right along. Alright, so I put the shower head and the faucet on, and around the back side I had 2 braided lines that were coming off of here, and I had a leak. I'm just replacing those. This shower head was on a braided line, and I hard soldered that all the way up to the shower head. So tomorrow I'll pick up those 2 and that'll be done. I'll put the knob on. The bathroom needs ceramic tile, so maybe do some caulking in here and finish some other stuff in the house tomorrow. So we'll be back at you.